views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff. KXVS, the voice of Stockton, broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube, TuneIn, and Simple Radio. It's time for Stockton SJC right here on KXVS. We have a special edition of SJC. We're going to be talking about something that you've been wondering about and we've been having a lot of questions about. It's solar. It's a big deal. A lot of people going solar, but there's also some changes.
Reality show. We talk about all things local, political, current, and real. Join us on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. Catch us at KXVS Radio or at thevoiceofstockton.org.
The Third City Podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show, we examine case studies in urban development in Stockton and other cities like Stockton across the country, exploring their local and regional impacts. Individual efforts play a role in Third City development, and it starts with you.
This is Darius Oliver, and you're listening to 92.1 KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Hello and welcome to the Tom Patti reality show. I am Donovan, substituting here on the boards for my father, your usual tech, Governor Don, and here is Supervisor Tom Patti.
Thank you, Donovan. And you are, by the way, of course, the son of our Governor Don, so we're very lucky to have you filling in. But the governor has some pretty big shoes to fill, so thanks for being here, buddy.
Of course.
We're getting pretty generational here. Thanks for this warm introduction, obviously. But there's a lot of your family members that work at the station and help promote it and pull this off every day, aren't there?
Yeah, it's kind of a family operation here. Very glad to be part of it.
How many siblings you have, like 12 or 15?
I have, there's a lot of us. There's 7 of us. I'm the oldest son, and then I have 4 older sisters, 1 younger sister, and 1 younger brother.
Gotcha. Well, it's a good group of kids, and I say kids very fondly, but I appreciate all that you guys are always doing and all the help that you have here.
Thank you. We try.
And I would like to say that your father is truly a wonderful person. And would you happen to know if he's adopting 40-somethings, his children?
He's really open to it. He loves kids. I mean, of all ages, everybody.
Okay.
So, Ted, I got to look. Are you on the monitor? Because last week you were just a phantom. The camera wasn't on you. We had a full studio. Is Ted on air, or is he just a phantom?
Yeah, he's on the screen.
You have a camera for him?
As long as I'm on screen, our ratings will go up because people tune in to see. It's all about me.
Of course.
There's Ted. Okay, he's in the shadows. I got you.
Okay, wonderful.
All right. Well, actually, the shadows work good because we can't see the food stains on your shirt.
Yeah.
Actually, Ted, you're looking good again, young man.
Well, yes, thank
I'm
you.
very proud of you. You said 40. Is that an actual true age?
40-something.
40-something.
Yeah,
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So
I got to keep my age young for my IMDb database.
Gotcha.
I'm expected to get called for that callback any day now.
Making a big jump into movies.
CBS wants me on a pilot. That's why I have my phone here because they're going to call me any second now. You know how it works.
Oh, I know how it works. All right. That's why I'm Stockton as a supervisor. I'm still waiting for that. For that callback on that one job.
Yeah.
So in the studio, we have a dear friend of mine, a fellow Rotarian, which I'm so proud. This last week, we had a multitude of Rotarians on the front page of the Stockton Record. We had Michael Blauer, who's been a guest on the show and local realtor and a good friend of mine and Rotarian. We had myself. I had the Department of Juvenile Justice and that job fair, their job training apprenticeship program. And then we had, there was one other, I know Adam Cheshire was on in the record being featured. I think he was on the front page. But anyways, there's a multitude. We have Stocktonian of the Year, Dr. Liz Blanchard. I mean, all Rotarians. So I'm really proud that anytime you open up the paper and you see some of us fellow Rotarians on the paper, we're engaged in the community.
That's right.
Multiple levels. So Pastor Peter Jalilie.
That's right.
One of my heroes. He has Hero Park.
There you go.
Over off of Kelly Drive, which is adjacent to Highway I-5 there.
Right.
When if you're traveling northbound, it's on the east side of that highway there.
Yes.
And that's a work in progress.
Yes, absolutely.
So give us a little update. What's going on? What's the latest? You just shared a little bit of exciting news before we got on and new partnerships. But you've accomplished a great deal as it is. So you took over this location as pastor, and there's this great big giant field. So you got a big piece of real estate to work with. That's then, so what's your vision? What's your passion? How'd you pull this off so far?
Yeah, well, we had this field, and we just thought, we got to do something more than just let it sit. I think there were some ideas that maybe at some point in time in the future they would build some sort of structure, but I didn't come to build buildings. I came there to build people and to build community. And so we've got our heart deep into this community, the Kelly Drive area specifically. And so we're developing a park. We call it Heroes Park because we believe that anybody could be a hero if they're willing to put some hard work into it and put some generosity and kindness and look out for each other. So, and that's what we're encouraging for the community. So,
and thus far, you've got some true heroes in the community that have stepped up. I mean, I know for a fact. I made a call in my brother-in-law's company, Guntert Steel, Ron Guntert, and my nephew, Raleigh Guntert. They stepped up right away and donated a big amount of steel for the basketball court.
That's right.
And what's interesting is that region of Stockton is without a pocket of recreation. There aren't any outdoor parks. There aren't any outlets for the kids that need somewhere to go and to bond and build good friendships and learn how to play on the playground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have an outlet.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've been huge in that, and your brother-in-law was just phenomenal. I mean, I remember when you told me the news, I almost started crying. I was so excited because, we were getting up against the clock of, trying to get ready for the pour and everything and just, hope and pray and said, okay, we believe it's going to work, but we didn't know how.
But we got to touch on this because you guys did it backwards. Okay, you call up Chase Chevrolet and immediately they're a phenomenal partner throughout multitudes of venues in the community. And they, honestly, in hundreds of thousands, they donate throughout the community. Right. So they donate the basketball hardware.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
For the pipes and everything. Okay. So, but you don't even have a court.
Right. That's right.
So you get the basketball, you get the basketball structures donated.
Yes.
So then we get steel donated by, again, Guntert Steel. And so you're going to get this, and then you schedule a pour.
Right.
But you don't have anything done.
Right. No.
There's no foundation. There's no framing. There's no structures. Nothing.
Right.
So tell me that story because you and Peter Powers, as a pastor, you've got a lot of great will. You've got a lot of good intentions, of course.
Sure.
And you were up against a clock, as you're noting.
Right.
You've got a scheduled pour.
Right.
And was that donated by a company?
Yeah, actually, a local resident donated that. And he owns some property that he rents out, but he's just a local guy that heard about us in the paper.
If I remember right, he just drove up. You were outside. He drove up and said,
"Yeah, never happened to me before like that." I was working on finishing the framing and the rebar, and it was like about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. This was on a Tuesday. We were supposed to pour on Saturday,
right? And
so I had previously that Sunday had called my church and said, "Hey, we got to do a prayer and fast. Everybody, don't eat, fast for a day. We got to pray this in because we're supposed to pour. We don't got no more money for the concrete.
Okay,
we
so
need 11,000."
As a pastor, let me understand correctly.
Yes.
Because I may have been doing this all wrong.
Right.
If you want your prayer to have more significance and perhaps a higher level of awakening and cooperation, then if you're fasting, it raises it to a new level.
Yes, it does.
I have totally missed that at Catholic Church.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. And because normally we planned everything out, we had everything in line, but at the end of the day, there are those times where you just have to jump out in faith, as you say.
Oh, it was a leap of faith.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are building this and putting it together, and of course, Chase started off by donating the hardware. So then you're framing it, you're doing rebar, and this is you're doing it.
Right.
Okay, I wasn't sure how that all got done.
Some of our men in the church helped, so we had guys, but some of them work. So just whenever I can.
So
get
you're just
them.
getting it done. You're putting it together, and that's all being done.
Yep.
Community effort and participation.
Right.
Great.
Yep.
The guy drives up and says,
Yep.
I want to buy the concrete for you.
Yeah, he said, what will it take to get this this basketball court done? And I said, well, it's going to take about $11,000 of concrete, and we're praying, we're hoping, we believe it's going to come this week, but we're not sure. And then he reached into his jacket and he says, well, it just arrived. And he handed me a check for over $11,000 and paid for it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. It's
what
phenomenal.
What an act of generosity.
He had a tear in his eye. And I started tearing up, and it's phenomenal.
Do you remember the gentleman's name? Or I'm sure you have it written down at the
Yes,
church.
I do. Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, William.
Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, William Bowen.
William
Bowen. Yeah.
Boeing?
Bowen.
William
Yeah.
Bowen. Well, if I have a
Great
chance
guy.
to see him, I'm
Yeah.
going to give him a big hug.
Him and I became friends. Actually, he's since passed on. Him and I became really good friends, and just a great guy, great-hearted guy. Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
He just wanted to pour back into that community because he felt that it was something positive for that community.
Yeah, it's an overlooked area of
absolutely.
of the Stockton for sure.
Yeah.
But the story continues. So now you've got the concrete, you've got the superstructure
Right.
for the basketball, you got all the rebar and the framing all done.
Right.
But now who's going to do the pouring?
Right. Well, we had our finishers backed out on us. Something they got busy on another job, they couldn't make it. So that was probably around Thursday, I think. And so here we got a couple days now. We got the concrete coming, but we don't have any finishers. So again, we did. Peter Powers and I did a quick little prayer. He was in a little backhoe. We said a prayer, and about 2 hours later, somebody said, "Hey, call this guy." And before we know it, we had actually two crews helping us.
Two crews there,
Yeah,
and
volunteering.
I mean,
Yeah.
got to be a couple dozen people.
Yeah, it's
pouring
huge.
an entire basketball court.
Right.
And I wouldn't even know how many yards of concrete, but 50, 100 yards of concrete.
It was a lot, yes, because it was about 100 and something feet long, over 60 feet wide. We wanted to do a full size NBA. Court. Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that not only a leap of faith, but a true trust in faith.
Yes.
That the power of prayer.
Right.
With Peter Powers, of
Right,
course. If you're going to do a
exactly.
prayer, do it
Right.
with Peter Powers and
Right.
and Pastor Jalilie.
Yeah.
Because you guys, it was miraculous how that came together.
Yeah, it's a park built for the community, by the community. So the church is, not able to fund something like that. So it's really the kindness of community members. You have been fantastic. I mean, you have just come on so strong for us. You're one of my heroes, in all honesty, and you are. I mean, just amazing. Theodore, just our contact. You guys have been fantastic. We've done stuff out there. We'll do some stuff in the future. It's been phenomenal. To get the support.
Yeah, well, it's many people participated, and many people made a contribution to. In fact, I was out there when they were doing the concrete, and we were building the fences around it.
Right.
And
we had
digging
Love
holes
Stockton. We had Presentation Catholic Church, and their construction team has come out a couple times, bringing a huge team. Quail Lakes Baptist Church, Go Lift Every Church. We've had the Lions Club helping us. We've had, of course, the Rotary Club, as you mentioned, helping us. We've had the Church of Latter-day Saints helping us. You name it. We had Walgreens had a team of volunteers come out. We've had PMZ Mortgage. Reliant. We've had just all kinds of Omar San Jose Mortgage helped us with a team, and just
Dr. Kui Key came out with his kids. Yeah, he was outstanding.
Julie Damon Brown.
Yeah, well, she's everywhere. That's a good. Just
exactly.
mention anything. You just got to give credit to Julie.
So we've had
that's Wonder Woman there.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had a ton. Dan Wright, our council member, helped out, and he was out there with us. Mayor Tubbs came out this last time and did some things for us, helped us, and so we've gotten a lot of help, a lot of support.
Now you expand obviously as a faith-based community and organization that you have going there.
Right.
You've expanded. There's a lot of There's a lot of needs in that community.
Absolutely.
So you've got a meal. You got meals.
Yeah,
you've got
every
food.
week.
You've got giveaways. Explain a little bit about the volume and what you're doing and the dedication from your community.
Well, one of our great passions, as you know, and as a supervisor, you've got to look over the whole city. And one of the things we found is that the North Stockton area wasn't really getting a lot of love, not because people didn't want to give it love, but a lot of the charitable contributions were either Central or South Stockton. And so we realized there was a niche, there was a need. And so we got together with some organizations, Helping Hands and some others. And so we started this food program. We give boxes of groceries out every week, every Wednesday from 12 to 1. No questions asked. It's just anybody could come. We don't care where in the city you are. You don't have to be North County. You could be or North Stockton. But we feed 500 people every week. We provide groceries.
Wow.
So that's noon to 1 on every Wednesday, and also every Sunday around noon. People could come, and that's usually just like a bag of groceries. Right. But it's fresh groceries. We got Trader Joe's, Target, just Safeway, you name it, Starbucks. Costco has been huge helping us with things. So
really,
so we get it out to people as soon as we can. So
what a
we
great
get
degree of
fresh milk and everything.
Yeah, I mean, but the participation that you have throughout the community and the retail and throughout with the citizens, it's phenomenal. It's outstanding what you're accomplishing. So let's take another step backwards.
Yeah.
Where are you from? How'd you get here?
Yeah, I'm from the Bay Area originally.
Okay.
And that's where I originally born and raised in San Bruno in the Bay Area. And I migrated out here. Just, it's funny because, I was talking to Theodore and because he was saying, what kind of brought you out here? Well, to be honest with you, I remember when I'd hear all the news about Stockton, and I remember saying this, I said, man, I'll never go to Stockton, famous last words,
Never say never.
Right, exactly. But you know what? I love it. I've really fallen in love with Stockton. We bought a home here. We're not too far off the Miracle Mile. We love being here. We love, reaching out to people as yourself and Theodore and others like that in the community. And we're looking at building something, longstanding in the community.
And when's the calling happen, or when did it happen for you to become a pastor? To say I have a passion,
right.
I have a message, and I'm committed to helping my community and those in their spiritual quest.
Yeah.
When did that happen for you?
Yeah, for me, it was when I was 17 years old. I went to a little camp, youth camp, and it was all about trying to find ways to touch, minister to the community, reach out to the community. And so we had a bunch of speakers, and at the end of one of the meetings, there was a little prayer time, and it was at that point I just said, I felt like I got to do something with my life. I always wanted to be a baseball player, and I played for 6 years in the city leagues and loved playing baseball. Went to the championship 3 of the 6 years and just had a great time. But I realized to get to the next level, I just didn't have that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of at a loss of what I was going to do. And then, I started getting involved with the church. I, just really dedicated my life to Christ. And from there, it just started to grow a vision to help people. And so I was 17 and a half years old, and I just knew there was a greater purpose for my life. And so I said, whatever it is, I'm going to give my heart 100% to it.
So what's the next step? How do you go to the next level where you end up eventually having a congregation and a community, located here?
Yeah.
How do you get from there? It's like, this is my calling, this is my passion, and then what? Where do you go next?
Yeah. Well, I started work with youth because I've always had a heart for youth, and so I started doing that. And then as that started to grow, and as I started to mature, I decided, what, hey, maybe I could someday be a lead pastor. And so doors opened up. And actually, the church I grew up in, I was able to pastor that church for almost 10 years.
Really?
Had a great experience, and it was great, So just came there, first time, the youngest pastor in the history of their church. I was 30-something years old.
How about that?
And just had a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then is there like a network, or how does one find out about a church in Stockton that needs a pastor? How do you, is there a Craigslist?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, well, there is. Yeah. So what it was is in our denomination, it's Assemblies of God. And so they had churches that were open, needing a lead pastor. And so I put in a resume and got a call back and said, hey, we'd like to talk to you, like to interview you. And so we did. And it was just really
So who hires you? How do you?
The local congregation.
Okay, the congregation is scouting and looking for who's going to be their next
Yeah.
pastor.
And that's what I love about it.
So it's an audition process.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And that's the great thing, because the church is owned by the local membership of the church. It's not the denomination that owns it. It's the local membership of that church.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's kind of an amazing situation.
How many people strong in the assembly at this point?
In ours, we were about 80 people in our local assembly, but it's a worldwide organization. It's, millions. Yeah.
Right.
It's the biggest Pentecostal denomination in the world. So, but we're all over the world. So,
do you guys have a pope?
No, but we have a superintendent. Yeah, general superintendent. Yeah, he's the big guy. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And where is he? Is that a rotating position?
Yeah, they're out of Springfield, Missouri, but
Okay.
our local leadership is at a district level, Northern California,
Okay.
Nevada, which is out of Sacramento. So, but it was kind of funny because when I was being interviewed, I drove to the interview and I stopped at the Walgreens just to pick up something. I can't remember what it was, breath mints or something like that. And I get out and all of a sudden this young lady, she's dressed in like these like Daisy Duke, shorts and everything. And she's asking me for a ride. And I'm brand new to Stockton. I don't know anything. She goes, I need a ride to Pershing. I look at her saying, hey, man, I don't know where that is. I'm just here to, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, who's setting me up here? Who's just testing me? So that was a running joke, that our board was, kind of testing me, seeing if I pass. So I said, no, I don't do that. No, you can't give you a ride. No,
Outstanding.
So it was kind of funny, but yeah.
And that was about 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yeah, 4 years, yeah.
So you think about the progress you've had in those 4 or 5 years and some dramatic changes and impacts. It's really positive.
Yeah, we are trying.
None of this existed before you were there.
No. We are trying to create a community center. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do movies in the park, Pixar movies in the park, and families could come out, offer free food, and just a place to congregate, place to hang out. So when people drive by, it's a work in progress. We still want to build our soccer field. We're still looking at building maybe a volleyball court with a nice sand volleyball court. We're gonna have all kinds of picnic areas, shelter areas for people to come have picnics and barbecue areas, and a track all the way around it so that they could jog, walk, exercise, walk their dogs. I mean, so there's a lot more that's gonna go into this than what you see right here. It's just a start.
Yeah, it's a project in motion.
Exactly.
Wow, that's outstanding. Yeah. And then if you were to, as a pastor, do you say well, I'm here for the next 10 years and then am I getting done and I move on, or what would be normal? You could be here for the next 30 years, however long you want.
That's what I love about our denomination. So I'm here as long as basically the church and I want to be together. Mm-hmm. So my goal is to beat the longest tenure was 14 years. Was the longest pastor they've ever had. I want to beat that. So, in fact, I was with the pastor. He's still alive. He's 96 years old. He moved the church from Channel Street here in town, from downtown, to where it currently is. There's a whole crazy story with Lonnie Beck and how they got the property, how they built the property. It's phenomenal. He's 96 years old. He served in the Battle of the Bulge. He's decorated. Wow. He literally had an experience with Christ in a foxhole, like the old foxhole conversion you hear.
Yeah.
He said, God, if you get me through this, he was in the Battle of the Bulge. I will give my heart to you. I will serve you. And sure enough, he got through. He was in a foxhole near a cemetery, and he said they bombed the heck out of him. The next morning, he found this huge mortar shell right next to his foxhole that did not go off. And so at that point, he said, you know what, God, I'm going to give you my heart. So he's the guy that moved the church to where our current location is. They've been there for 30 years at that location.
How about that? Now, I had, oh my gosh, this is a long time, probably 20, I'm going to guesstimate, probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I was asked to come out there with a crane and a basket and paint the cross.
Yes.
A special glow paint. So when you go down the freeway at nighttime, it would be illuminated.
Yes.
I don't know if the paint worked out as well as they were hoping.
It did.
So I think you guys still illuminate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
yes, we do.
But that was the idea. We had a big old crane, the biggest crane we had that could reach to the peak across the roof to get it painted. But it was so I've been there on and off for many years.
Absolutely.
It's a great landmark to see when you're driving on I-5 South, and that's when you know you're in Stockton.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Church.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous place to be. We just want to reach out to the community. We have a passion, and we really want to do some great things to develop that community. And that's our long-term goals is to activate the community, to just really elevate the whole community from the inside out. And so that those are there, have the training, the skill, the life skills. In fact, I'm going to start in about a month a life skills training for young teenagers that I'm going to take them through leadership life skills.
Bring me in. I've got a whole program on employability. You and I have talked about this. I think I want to reaffirm. I honestly have a 2-page bullet point presentation. It takes about an hour.
I'd love to.
Job preparation, choices.
Love to. That's what we're all talking about.
And I'm telling you right now, I really come at it as a contrarian. The first thing I tell them is, nothing good or bad in life is going to happen by accident.
Right.
It's going to happen life's going to happen based on the choices you make.
Absolutely.
And inaction is an action.
Right.
But the reality is you need to make choices and put your body in motion and your mind in motion for positive actions.
Absolutely.
And so dispelling the myth of an accident. But then I also let them know that career-wise, I think the biggest fallacy, and I repeat this often because there's so many educators that say this one lie again and again, and it's always said, it's wrongfully said. They always say, choose a career you love, and you'll never work a day of your life.
Right? Yeah.
And it's a fallacy because work is
agree.
work. The reality is love what you do, and that's a perspective.
Yeah.
That's not an occupation.
Right. No, I love it.
You love what you do.
Right.
And you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the reality. You want a nice car?
Yes.
Work for it.
Yes.
You want to have clothing, and you want to have a house. Work for it. And what do you need to do to empower yourself to have the kind of future you want for yourself? And the sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want more and more. Work harder and think bigger and make bigger things happen in your life in whatever career realm that you're not only currently in, but where you see yourself going.
Right. Absolutely.
And so that's so my whole, again, it's about an hour long of engagement and questions and answers and just pinpointing that that process of how to get there.
Yeah, no, we love that, and that's exactly what we're trying to do because we understand it's more than just helping people out, giving things. Because if all we're doing is giving people stuff, but we're not elevating their lives, it really in the long run doesn't help them.
The process of what are you thinking? How are you? You're not a victim.
Right.
You're in a circumstance or a situation, and you need to empower yourself to do more and have more.
Absolutely.
Nobody's a victim. There is no victimhood. It's just you're in the situation that you are.
Right.
Maybe by choices or just the circumstances that you've been found yourself in.
Right.
But it's up to you to now make a choice.
Yes.
To transition to where you want to be next.
Right.
And it's oftentimes you need to make a paradigm shift.
Right. Absolutely.
And you need to go and say, okay, I'm addicted to chaos.
Right.
And it's not working out for me.
Right.
My life is not working out well for me.
Right.
So I now need to think, if that's whatever my normal is,
right.
I need to do the opposite.
That's right.
I need to not hang out with the people that are bad influences. I need
right.
to stay away from the things that limit my prospect and my potential. And you just need to make that adjustment and that paradigm shift.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'd love to do that. Maybe like a night with Tom Patti, and just have you share some things like that.
Well, maybe get one or two people to show up.
Well, no, we could, but for these young people, we're trying to give them a vision beyond where they're currently at, because we want them to know your life can be better if you're willing to put in the work you need to put in.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
It's not what you're doing; it's what you're doing more of.
Right.
It's
right.
You can maximize your potential by exasperating
right.
and maximizing what you're doing for yourself and the job you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I had a job one time. I was sweeping floors. This cleanup guy. I was up in the boxing camp in Catskill, and there was Burzell's Chevrolet dealership.
Yeah.
Was there for forever. A little
right.
dealership in Catskill, New York, and it's since gone out of business. But so I was going to sweep up and clean the floor. So I took it upon myself. I walked up to the store and I bought some Mop and Glow. Mm-hmm. His showroom hadn't been waxed in forever. So the owner comes in one day. It's like, what happened to my show?
Yeah.
Who did this? So he calls me, and I'm out sweeping up in the shop and cleaning up. And he's like, did you do this? And I said, yeah. He goes, but where'd you get the wax? I said, well, I brought it with me, and I bought it and I paid for it. And he goes, in 30 years, nobody's done this over here. He goes, I can't believe what you guys. What else you want to do over here? And I said, I want to learn how to work on cars and body shop. And so I was, then in the body shop, you take the extra initiative, and you do a little bit more, and then somebody's going to notice, and then you're going to have an opportunity to go further. I always say be the first one there and the last one to go.
There you go.
And that manager, that supervisor, that people notice, and also you're there to listen and learn. Because if you're there first before it gets cluttered and busy with multiple people, you have a chance to talk to a supervisor. You have a chance to take an interest. How's it going today, boss? What's going on? What types of, what's a good day? What's a bad day around here? Well, how do we do that? How do we always make it better? And what kind of deadlines are we under? And you just get an understanding of how the operation's going.
Absolutely.
Just by being interested and engaged.
Right.
And next thing you're in management training.
Yeah, isn't that great?
You are truly in management training because you are asking and learning on the job.
Yeah.
Versus somebody that comes in, clocks in, goes out, and they're just doing time, which is fine.
Sure.
Not everybody's going to be ambitious, but if you want more, do more.
Yeah. So what would you say to like a young person who's struggling? Maybe they don't have their biological parents with them. Maybe they're incarcerated or separated, so they're being raised maybe by a grandma or somebody, like that. And there's a lot of adversity, a lot of struggles. So what would you say to somebody like that? How would you, try to lift them up a little bit? What would you say to them?
Well, first and foremost, I firmly believe if one person can do it, so can another.
Yeah.
Okay. My dad at 13 years old didn't have parents, and he worked at a gas station for $5 a day. And this is the lesson I would tell him. And a guy drives by, in a convertible Cadillac with a good-looking gal sitting next to him. And my dad looks at him, not with spider envy, but my dad looks at that guy and says, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to save my money, and one day that's going to be me.
Yeah.
And that's the recipe for success.
There you go.
Work hard, save your money, and make something good for yourself. It's like, chips are down and you've got some adversity to challenge. But if you work hard, I'm going to appreciate the character strength you have to overcome adversity versus somebody that's been given or gifted opportunities and they squander it. Because that happens so many times. How many times in generation after generation, where they say within 2 to 3 generations, the people that inherit wealth are squandering it and they're losing it, and and those follow-up generations are now going to be back into a struggle. Absolutely. So I honestly appreciate people that come from adversity. They rise to the top, and they have no other option but to succeed. So failure is not an option. So you have and you're surrounded by adversity. So now the only option you have is to succeed. How does that work for you? What's that look like for you? Let's define success. Let's write out, and I'd sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil, say, let's put together our 5 and our 10-year goals. Where do you see yourself 5 years and 10 years? What's the plan to get there? And then let's put down a 20-year goal, and in 20 years, let's open up this envelope and reach those goals.
That's great.
And you will, if you can identify it, then you can put it into the realm of possibility.
That's great.
And that's action. And then now you have to execute a plan of action, and it's if you do that, it's a foregone conclusion to success, I believe.
That's fantastic.
Pastor, if I may say something about your hypothetical situation about the somebody who growing up under adverse conditions, maybe with incarcerated parents, maybe growing up financially challenged. This is what I think is a good news, or every dark cloud has a silver lining. We have a lot of poverty. We have a lot of challenges in this county and in this city. On the silver lining in that bad appearing situation is that a lot of people are in the same boat. And that's right. If you look at this city, people do overcome those obstacles. Tom Patti was talking about how he didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. His parents didn't grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth. Neither did my parents, neither did I. But here, it just shows that you in Stockton, because we have that. Everybody's is in a lot of people are in that boat.
Absolutely,
we have a mayor right now who came from a situation very similar to what you described. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the mayor's politics or voted for him, the fact that he was able to just 12 years ago, he was living in Sierra Vista, projects, and 6 years after he was living in the projects. He was on city council. Now he's mayor. And I'm not here to endorse his policies or even criticize him.
I understand.
The fact that anybody, we have tremendous stories of success right here in Stockton.
Absolutely.
That's a great point, Ted, because honestly, we're not in Beverly Hills with multimillionaires and movie moguls. And so who doesn't have a story of challenges? People talk about, my parents worked in the fields, and God bless them. Work hard. Well, guess what? I grew up going out the fields and picking tomatoes. After the harvesters would go through, the farmers would let us go there, and we'd spend hours picking tomatoes and taking what was rejected so we can go home and cook food. And my mother would make spaghetti sauce. Being Italian, you'd make canned foods so that you would and for the next 3-4 days we had a little mini food processing kitchen, and we cooked food that would last months and months and months throughout the year. So throughout the community, I mean, what the average wage in Stockton is somewhere around $50,000, right thereabouts.
It's around there. It's low, and we have a very high poverty rate. Which
so anybody, but I'd follow up that with is success doesn't need an excuse.
That's great.
If you can be successful, success speaks for itself. It's the people that aren't going anywhere that have an excuse. And I don't look for excuses. I don't find them acceptable. It's like, whatever your situation is, that should be a motivating factor to succeed. You have adversity. Yes, there's challenges, and yes, there's potential. You look at people. Dave, what's his friend? The fellow that started Wendy's.
Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas. Pardon me for forgetting his name.
From Ohio.
He came from a foster home.
Absolutely.
Didn't have parents, and he said, he went for work with. He started working in another company, if it was McDonald's or Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was one of the companies. And he saw a way that I can do this for myself. I've learned, and I'm going to get people that believe in me, that help back him, and he created a tremendous franchise.
He did.
For himself, all out of nothing.
Right.
But building relationships and building opportunity.
Yeah.
So if he can do it, so can somebody else.
Right. Absolutely.
No, regardless of the circumstances, I don't believe in excuses. I really do not.
Right. And that's what we're hoping to create there. So we're hoping to, just really get the community active. And eventually we would like to launch this idea of Adopt a Block, where we have people adopt every block of Kelly Drive, be responsible, keeping it clean, keeping all the graffiti removed, getting to know the people that live on that block. And if there's any special needs that they have, like a fence that needs a little repair, we'll have a team of people that could go over there free and fix it. So that kind of a thing we're hoping to develop. But again, it's going to take some time, but we're going to, one block at a time, we want to transform that Kelly Drive neighborhood.
Yeah, let's improve the curb appeal.
Exactly.
So it doesn't look so daunting.
Exactly.
And people are in the community, they've got a little more pride and they're more engaged in it.
Right, absolutely.
Mayor Reardon inaugurated programs like that when he was mayor of Los Angeles in South Central right after the 1992 Rodney King riots. And it actually lifted the spirits of those who had been living in Watts and South Central, those challenging parts of the city of Los Angeles. And that might have been around the time.
I was there.
When Reardon came in and instituted, and it brought people's pride in their neighborhoods much higher than it had been previously.
Absolutely.
Because those are good people that live on Kelly Drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a wonderful part of it.
Right.
It's a great history.
Yeah.
So
they just get overwhelmed with life sometimes.
It happens
when
all
we
of
first
us.
started doing this, we took a lot of criticism. There were people on Facebook telling us on social media, what are you doing? These people aren't going to respect that. Are you crazy? Why would you do that? When we got the basketball courts, I mean, they're really nice NBA sized ones too.
Oh, yeah.
We've all seen.
Because we didn't want just a medal. We wanted to give them something better because we want them to gravitate to something better.
Well, I appreciate is you looked at a challenge you looked at a need as a challenge.
Right.
And it's like, it's not a matter of if we're going to do it. It's a matter of how we're going to do it and how we're going to do it effectively.
Right.
Positive action, positive
results. Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So
I appreciate that. So Ted, what's next?
Well, tomorrow we have a very special show on KVS, the Voice of Stockton. It is not our show, of course. It will be Betty Ramirez's Sabor Latino. It's a show that airs normally here daily, but tomorrow she has a very special program with a gentleman named Ed Ramirez, who's from a group called the Mex Blues Band. It is a salsa and traditional Mexican musical group, and he is going to be here. He has over 30 years of experience, and he'll be interviewed by Betty Ramirez, and he may be playing acoustically, of course, some of his music. He was one of the founders of KUOP, and he has a wealth of knowledge about the local music scene, but also about Latino music, and particularly music from certain regions of Mexico that I think the listeners of the station will be, they'll love hearing what he has to say. And
Betty's got a great show too. It's always fun, entertaining,
it's always educational and informational.
So now you sent me something earlier, Ted. I think it's pretty funny actually. A tweet. This is people have so many outlets and ways to express themselves. This is a pretty good one, I thought. It says millennials get a lot of grief, at least. So let's say, but it's the baby boomers that are addicted to pain pills, and Generation Z that's eating the Tide those Tide Pods, right?
Right.
So if we put it into perspective, who's faring better right now? I have to say millennials, in truth, they're probably not doing as bad as Generation Z, Generation X, and the baby boomers that are all over narcotics.
I actually think Generation X, of which I'm a member, is one of the we just terrible misfortunes. We just have never been able to see a lot of us who were born between 1963 and 64 and 1965 have just had some tremendous challenges. Some of our movies in the 1990s they made when a lot of with younger actors that were Gen X movies were always talking about how we were struggling then and we're struggling now. It's absolutely amazing. You have millennials who they're designing these apps that are becoming millionaires and billionaires. The millennials aren't the problem. It's Generation X.
Generation X, very
Stuck
true.
in the middle,
But I think the worst name you could ever call a generation is Generation X. Because it's like you're anonymous.
Exactly.
It's like if you had no education, you signed your name with an X. You were kind of you were the lower degrade of, on the education scheme, and you were just like an X. I just think it's not fair to that generation to call it Generation X. It's kind of a self-loathing name.
Yeah, well, we're a self-loathing generation.
That's it. I know, huh?
But it's good that the millennials are actually doing quite well.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, do you have any closing comments? We're about at the end of our show.
Yeah.
What would you like to talk about?
Just really just say, thank you to you guys. I love being on the show, and I love what you're doing in the community. Just want to encourage you, keep it up, because good things are happening in the community, and we all are aware of some of the bad things. But you know what? There's a lot of pockets all over the city where tremendous things are going on. So that's exciting. And Donovan did a great job on the boards. Donovan, you rock. So good job. Yeah, this is a great station.
Thank you, Donovan, and thank you, Ted, but mostly Pastor Peter, as I know you, but Pastor Jalilie, thanks for all that you're doing and all that you continue to do. Your vision and the passion and the commitment to see it through, because it's making a deep and profound impact. I mean, you go by and you see those kids playing on the playground. Yeah. Where else would they be?
Yeah, right.
And you get a chance to meet some of these kids,
right.
And you're just like, that's an individual and it's their future, and you have an opportunity to be a mentor for them.
Yes.
And that's influencing that next generation.
Absolutely.
The nearest park is 20 minutes away, Stuart Gibbons Park.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. So one final assignment is if you can give Ted a blessing.
Yes.
And get him through the day and the week and the month
Always.
and even this year, 2018. That would be much appreciated.
Always. I always will. Yeah.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate you, and look forward to seeing you as always.
Yes. Thank you.
Cheers. And thank you, Donovan. You have a great rest of your week, and thank you, listeners, for joining us on KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
If you're okay with it, maybe come back.
No, I'd love to. Yeah, appreciate it.
Do something regular.
Yeah.
Because I think, and maybe even you talked about bringing PG&E in. If we could have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Because they hold a lot of the keys.
That's the gatekeeper.
Yes. So maybe most importantly, how do people get more information from you? How do they contact you? What's the best way to reach you?
So they can reach me on my email, cvillegas@nexussolar.net. If you guys have any questions, send me an email. I'm up till like 1 a.m. Just checking emails and talking to people. So that's one way. Another one is go to the website, www.nexussolar.net.
Okay.
And there's a link there where you guys can get some questions answered. Some of the things that we went over today. But email, the website.
You're on Facebook?
I am on Facebook.
Okay, how do I find you on Facebook?
So it's Your Solar Guy on there, right?
Your Solar Guy.
Yeah, so
I like that.
It's Your Solar Guy Carlos. It's local.
All right.
You'll see some of the projects on there.
Nice.
And then we also have we're doing a Northern California Facebook page, because there's a lot of us up here. We have offices in Fresno and down south in Benicia. There's a little group of us out here that are just, doing a great job. We're doing events. We're out here doing, public work. So we want to put some stuff up there, and some local heroes that are helping out. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Sun Grants, but homeowners can get quotes, and we donate to the schools.
Oh wow!
So we have PTA calling us up, and some of these ladies in the schools are pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So if you have questions about solar, and again, we'll put that information in the description. But you could reach Carlos at CVILLEGAS at
nexussolar.net.
Facebook, and the website nexussolar.net. And again, we'll have the links in the description when we post the video. Last words, any advice?
Yes. Get multiple quotes, right? Don't just sign the first thing you see. It's gonna sound great, right? Everybody wants your business, but get out there, find a value, right? Find the value in everything, right? So get a good balance, quality product, good payment, and a good company. Do your research.
Yeah, that's good advice. Great advice, and I it's very I think it's very honest and open advice as well. You didn't say, hey, get it from me. You said, find out as much as you can. And that's great advice. Carlos, thank you for coming in. We do invite you to come back.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And also, if you got anything going on in our area, if you something you want to promote, let us know if there's some kind of deal or special that these homeowners need to know about. Something comes up, or if you're going to have maybe any kind of meeting or informational gathering, that'd be great too. And again, we'll post your information in the description. I want to thank you for hanging out with us at Stockton SJC.
Thank you.
And appreciate your time and your service to the community. And hey, green is the way to go, and
right.
solar is the number one way to get us there.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Carlos. Of course, you're listening to KXVS, the voice of Stockton. This is Stockton SJC. And please stay tuned for more quality programming right here on the voice of Stockton. And we will talk to you as soon as you click on our next video. All right. Have a great one out there. See you soon.